Okay, so I'm back, gonna talk about Monday Night Raw, but the difference is I have my buddy Joel here with me.
What? Where am I? What is this? Who are you people?
So you're a recent convert to the wonderful world of wrestling we have.
Very, very recent. In fact, Night of Champions marked my second pay-per-view ever.
Ooh, man, so at least you missed some of the terrible, terrible times in like the mid 2000s.
Well, it's funny you should say that because, like, a big thing I seem to be getting across the board from like old school wrestling fans is this idea that like wrestling is getting hot again and it
Oh yeah,
is getting big again. And I mean, I think you really need to find no better example of that. That freaking Jon Stewart. The first thing he did after getting done his big Daily Show run was, "Hey, what do you want to do? I want to host SummerSlam. Is what I want to do."
right, right. So much like I do every week, we're just gonna kind of talk about, I guess, some of the general things we sort of remember. I always tend to leave like half the things out just because they were forgettable. Now, who could ever forget the continuing saga of Ruru and Summer Rae? Isn't that just
Like,
great?
again, I've just started watching wrestling and I already am totally sick of this story arc. The thing that really stuck out to me is, from what I understand, Rusev dumped Lana because she quote unquote cost him his match with John Cena. Am I correct in that?
Yes, because apparently he didn't quit, but she said he did, or some shit like that. Because they
Right,
fought for like 4 months straight.
right, of course. Meanwhile, Summer Rae throws a shoe like a frickin' Austin Powers villain
Hmm.
in this, and yet Rusev doesn't immediately dump her for the next thing, even though she was arguably even more in the wrong of costing him the match.
Right, exactly. So it's just one of those stupid things, and I don't think I can find anybody that likes this storyline or where they're going with it. And I think the worst part that really does it in is those stupid fucking vignettes they do. Like, Jesus Christ, and like they're backstage and it's all this melodrama, and then they cut to like Days of Our Lives style cutaway, and
Which don't get me wrong, wrestling is, just
oh
one
yeah.
giant soap opera, but even still, it's like, don't be transparent about the soap opera.
Right, right. Don't be so obvious in your face. And they even have that like announcer voice. He's like, "But Summer Rae, what is she gonna do?" I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!"
What I think is even worse about this too is that with, Lana out with an actual real wrist injury, it means
Right.
that we're gonna have to friggin' deal with this storyline a while longer, and they're gonna milk it until she comes back and they can finish it. I guess the question I would ask you, and I would ask the listeners too, what would your ideal conclusion be for this storyline once it's
Just
final?
fucking drop and pretend it can never happen.
I think the way I want it, if I and I know I'm new to wrestling and I'm
Oh,
already
if we have to like pick one,
mm,
I would want this to be a giant swerve where the entire time Lana was playing everybody.
see, now that would be nice because people really love Lana and everything, and heck, I like her too. I would love to show her to be the mastermind. I guess my way with it is maybe leave it at the end of it where it's like, oh, Ziggler does a heel turn and now it's him and Summer Rae together as heels versus the new baby face Rusev and Lana, who get to go face off the back of it, where you kind of do like a karmatic shift. Because it's like, despite being the bad guy and despite having his big, oh, champion of the Russian Republic run, I really like Rusev. I think he's a really good talent. I think he's charismatic. I think he's good in the ring.
Oh yeah, I think he's great too. Like I really enjoy his like when he has a really good like ring presence. When he's
Hmm.
out there he could cut a really good promo. Like
Heck, when he was hanging out with the New Day, even
oh
in this
yeah.
newest match, he even got a little bump off the back of that, where it's like, yeah, go evil Russian and go evil, what is it, New Day? Which that's what I love about the New Day. They're technically bad guys, yet they're more fun than any of the good guys.
Right,
So
right. Everybody loves New Day. I mean, you can't not. I mean, look at what they did. Like Vince McMahon gave them that crappy gimmick. They're like, no, go out there like and dance the gospel, and they turn it to gold. So you know,
we're gonna make it work, and we're gonna be the best goddamn thing. So good, in fact, that you have to bring the Dudley Boys out of retirement, another incredibly beloved tag team, just to even be on our level, so we just don't overshine everyone else in the tag division.
right. And I mean, that was the big match. Of course, you know, New Day and freaking Rusev faced the Dudley Boys and Dolph Ziggler. It was like a 15-minute match, and it was pretty solid overall. Like I mean, it's a typical Monday night, Raw where they have to cram as many tag team matches as they can into, get as much story crossover as they can. So,
I'm always impressed by that too, because a lot of these tag teams where it's like we only wrestle each other every week in every pay-per-view. So when they throw a new person in there, it's like, oh wow, they've totally changed it up. And I can only imagine what they were doing in the lead up to the match, where it's like, oh, but we're all off now.
right, right. Well, my big thing was like, oh no, Randy Orton came back this Monday Night Raw. I'm like, well, it's back to him facing Sheamus every other week.
Randy Orton. I'm glad you mentioned that because it's like obviously Randy Orton came back to help out Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns as they battled the evil Satan rednecks. And what's great about this is that obviously the Wyatt family had taken him off the table earlier on, so he could be the third man for their Night of Champions. He kind of comes back here and saves the day, and I can't help but think to myself, maybe if Orton was on your team for the other show, you would have won.
Yeah, maybe if you didn't put Jericho on there but they didn't even do anything with that post Night of Champions. Hell, they didn't even do anything with Sting's alleged injury. So
apparently he's really hurt, from what I understand. Like he actually did legit get hurt, or maybe they're just super kayfabing it.
I feel like it's a super big storyline, and here's my feeling. I'm gonna make the prediction here, right? I feel that Hell in a Cell is Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's now 1-1 to see who's gonna get the final of the three. Sting runs in, attacks Undertaker, thus Undertaker loses, setting up a WrestleMania match.
Right, because that's the match that everyone's wanted to see since.
Well, I mean, we want to see like a decade ago when both men could move, but still, at least they could promote it. It's like finally freaking happens because.
And that's nothing against Sting. Like in his match with Rollins, he
was amazing.
He's like 55 and he's taking dangerous bumps and he's doing big ass maneuvers, and it's like, good on you, sir.
Well, I mean, like just a couple years ago when he was in TNA, like he was really, really solid. I mean, he put over like high and drugged Jeff Hardy off his ass. So I mean, the dude can clearly still work. But let's move on to the other part of the show where obviously they have to shove women in the show. For better or for worse, they finally.
As a new fan, I'm trying really, really hard to give the whole Divas division a chance because I don't want to be one of those guys where it's like, oh, Divas match, time to take a piss break.
Right.
Or whatever. But, it's hard not to. I mean, I think the problem with the whole quote-unquote Divas revolution is obvious, and that is where it's like, okay, so instead of pushing you all solo as characters, now you're all just teams, and you're all just wrestling each other as teams now.
It's finally, at least, Paige did the heel turn, which was like, oh, finally, she turned, so obviously she's going to face, like, Nikki and Charlotte, probably a Hell in a Cell and a triple threat by the look of it.
That would be interesting.
Which, that'll kind of be cool. I'm glad they finally turned her heel. I mean, it was a long time coming, and it's like a whole,
I mean, she looks like a heel and dresses like a heel, so it's kind of interesting that she was. Now, what was big for me as a newcomer is I got to see Natalia.
Love Natalia. She's my favorite.
Well, see, here's the thing, too. Like, I remember her when, like, OSW covered the first episode of Divas. And it's like, oh, yeah, she's Canadian, and she trained with the Heart Foundation and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, she sounds fucking awesome.
Oh, she is quite awesome. Here's the unfortunate thing. This is like the first time they've used her in months.
I've heard, I noticed.
Threw her out there, and literally, I think it might have been a 3-minute match or less. It was just, what a waste of fucking talent.
And you know what the real unfortunate thing about it, too? She's older than the other girls.
By like 2 years, and that's ridiculous.
And yet, in like wrestling and TV time, where it's like 2 years older, yeah, get out of here, Grandma.
Right. It sucks, unfortunately. I hope they maybe, like, I don't know, give her some more. Because, like, if you go watch anything where she's training with the younger talent,
oh, she kicks ass.
Fucking incredible.
She looks like she trained with the Heart Foundation.
Right. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. That's unfortunate. Although what I'm glad to see is like Sasha Banks looks like she's probably going to get a prominent role in just a few months on Raw. So she's fucking incredible.
Now she's the NXT one, right? Who had like a bunch of great matches over there, but they haven't quite been able to make her work.
Yeah, no, not quite.
Speaking of NXT, I mean, I guess we should talk about the show that opened the match, and that was Ryback versus super positive Bo Dallas. Is that just his gimmick that he's super positive and that he loses all the time?
Yeah, he comes out, he wants to make you believe, and then he gets fucking destroyed in less than 4 minutes.
Cool fact about Bo Dallas, I found out, he is actually the other son of IRS, which makes him the brother of Bray Wyatt in real life. See, now that's an angle I fucking want, like a comedy angle where the Wyatt family are like, "Oh, who's gonna be our new member?" And then Bo Dallas is like, "Me," and then they still do all the creepy, like, scary stuff, but he's just being super positive in that.
Right, he's just super positive about all that shit.
It's like, yeah, evil, yeah, Sister Abigail, and like the other two are just like, "Oh my god, why did we invite this guy?" And Bray's like, "I'm sorry, he's actually family."
Right, right. Now, can we talk about the biggest problems with fucking booking the world champion I've ever seen?
Sure.
So Seth Rollins last week loses to Ryback,
Mm-hmm,
and he's the
mm-hmm.
world champion. This week he loses to John Cena, and he's still the world champion.
Yes.
In my mind, if you're world champion, you're better than the rest of the company.
I've heard you mention this
Right.
before, and
If
you
someone
are correct.
defeats you, man, that means they're better than you.
Than
Thus, they're better than
everybody else,
everybody
yeah.
else. So why the fuck is he losing every single week?
It is weird because I mentioned this in my own newcomer's perspective that there seems to be two Seth Rollins. There's the pay-per-view Seth Rollins, who is an amazing athlete and, surprisingly strong for a dude his size and a guy you can't help but respect. Then there's like Raw Rollins, who's really good on the mic, but he's also kind of sneaky and, kind of deceptive and everything. And he's basically a Triple H Jr. is what he is. I'm the cerebral assassin. And yet, like, Raw Rollins, as you said, can't seem to fucking win to save his life.
You know what this actually reminds me of? And I know that not a lot of people are going to get this, so I'm going to try to explain this. This
Please
gets
do.
me of the Star Trek The Next Generation paradox. The TV show, Picard is level-headed and fucking amazing. You get to the movies, he runs around like a maniac with a rifle screaming at everything and has no fucking logic and just loses his mind.
Like a low-rent John McClane, yeah.
Right, so I'm really trying to figure out, like, why did they book him so differently? But then, at the end of the match, we finally, we see he's kind of there, and the Big Red Machine comes from hell, which is it's got to be under the ring now. Like we all
hell
know
just exists under the WWE ring.
It's where it is. There can't be anywhere else. So
I like to they drag him down there, and everyone's like, "So what did he do to Seth Rollins when he dragged him down there? Is he dead now? Did he kill a man? Did he do butt stuff to him?"
Well, see, the worst part is, to me at least, back in the day, and you wouldn't notice because you didn't watch it. WCW used to do this all the time because the time between the shows didn't exist in pro wrestling, right?
Right.
So there was a time, and I could be wrong about what show it's on, but on Monday Night Nitro, Sting gets a ton of blood dumped on him. And I think it was Thursday's Thunder, or it might have been even as far as next Monday Night Nitro. Sting stumbles from the back, still covered in the same blood. And they're acting like it just happened. I'm like, guys, it's been a fucking week.
Nice. No, obviously, of course, it was Kane who did that, and they seem to be pushing this idea where it's like, corporate Kane is back, but he's denying that he's Demon Kane. He's like, "What? No, that's not me. I'm not anything." Which makes me think, I'm like, is this like some sort of comedy split personality thing they're running with, where it's like corporate Kane doesn't know what Demon Kane does? Or are they maybe pushing the idea that while Kane is the mastermind behind this, he's not actually the dude in the mask?
See, here's the twist. They're going to bring back the fake Kane that they literally had going on for like 2 months, and then they completely dropped the angle.
There was a fake Kane and there was a fake Undertaker, too, for a little bit.
Yes, the fake Kane was actually Glenn Jacobs, the guy that plays the current Kane and has been Kane forever. He thought he was going to retire. They made another Kane come in, and it was like, okay, he's going to, fight you, and then he's going to take over as the Kane, but he decided not to retire. So they were like, well, I guess we'll just keep you around, buddy.
Sounds like the freaking Clone Saga for Spider-Man, but with Kane's, the Kane Saga.
Right. It's like, oh, what's happening? Oh, who the fuck knows? Just get on with this.
I know a lot of people and a lot of older fans like you are super excited at the idea of having cool Kane back, where it's like you didn't like Suit Kane, you didn't like Corporate Kane, and I guess that got into the minds of the people running things where it's like, fine, we'll bring Demon Kane back.
Well, see, here's my thing, like, I'm also one of the guys that's like, you need to put over new talent, right? But if you're so fixated on keeping older guys around, then at least make them the iteration that worked and that the fans remember. So at least they're going to do, I mean, Imagine if the Dudley Boys came back, except
But they
instead of
had new gimmicks.
right, except instead of being like, get the tables, they're like, no, the tables are wrong, guys. And they're like, whoopity doo. I'd be like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, at least you're keeping the friggin' versions that work. But you know what I would like to see? And I think it would be a nice torch passing moment. If, before he goes again, we can see Demon Kane fight Braun Strowman, because he's very much in that same, like, oh, I'm big and I'm scary and no one can stop me.
I'm honestly
I
just,
think that would be a good match.
yeah,
For like
honestly,
for
I
like a
think that,
Mania or something.
right, something like Kane is not a main eventer. Like, as much as I like Kane and I used to love Kane,
No.
he, you can't put the title on him and have him carry your company. Like, he's always a main eventer that can't carry everything. Like, he's just there, but not quite. So,
And what's that thing they say about older wrestlers? You always go out on your back, is the thing.
so overall, what do you think of this Raw? I mean,
It definitely had the post event buzz to it, which is nice. There were some strong matches. There was some cool stuff going on there. Yeah, I mean, I liked it overall. We didn't touch on the whole continue Roman Reigns, Ambrose, Wyatt family thing, and I wanted to ask you about this. They've been fighting and feuding the whole time I've been watching.
they've been feuding for like 4.5 months, maybe even longer. It's ridiculous.
And then it's like, that's not even counting the stuff that happens before, when they feuded and fought when they were the Shield.
Yeah.
Then when it was just Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose feuding for a little bit. It's getting to the point where I'm just like, guys, can you wrestle other people, please?
Yeah. This is the whole reason I like, and I mean, you obviously just started, so you didn't know like when they split the brands.
Mm-hmm.
So SmackDown had its own thing, and Raw had its own thing, and then they would like get back together for the pay-per-views. And I thought that was like it worked phenomenally well because they had more time to develop everybody. I'm gonna ask you this: how long has it been since Fandango and frickin' R-Truth and frickin' King Barrett have been around? They have been on in like months.
Yeah, I think the last time we saw Barrett was during the whole like Stephen Amell Arrow thing they had going on.
It's crazy. Like, there's just too much talent and none of them are being used. And apparently now there's rumors that they're gonna bring back Carlito. I don't even know. Like, I just want them to bring back Carlito and redo the angle where he stabbed John Cena in a bar fight, because that was his original thing.
I remember hearing about that, the great stabbing angle.
And John Cena's like, we gotta settle this the only way I know how. A singles match.
In the wrestling ring, because in the universe of the WWE, all problems are solved with wrestling matches. Disputes over children, wrestling match. Got your car repoed, wrestling match.
Everything's over. The Who Hits Stone Cold, wrestling match.
Settle it in the ring, damn it.
So overall, I think we both enjoyed the show, but it does have its share of problems, much like every Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, at least it's not as bad as 2 years ago, because good lord. Oh.
Yeah, I get the feeling I came in at a pretty good time.
Oh, you missed some serious shit. I want to know where Finley is now. Man, that guy sucked.
I'm sure you can Google him. I'm sure he's out there somewhere.
He's not worth my time. I don't want him in the search engine.
I don't want that in my search history. I don't want Google
Vince
to see.
McMahon will pay Google for results. I'm like, oh, someone likes the fifth Finley, bring him back to Raw.
Bring him back. Someone's been Googling you again.
Because that's Vince McMahon's mentality. If someone Googles him, he wants him back.
He must be worthwhile.